Left-wing advocacy groups claim that Texas A&M has censored Plato, but the facts don't line up. This is Monday, January 12th, 2026.
Texas Scorecard presents the day's first news for the Lone Star State. The Texas Minute, with your host, Michael Quinn Sullivan.
Welcome into Monday. Thanks for spending part of your day with the Texas Minute. Special thanks go to Sydney Henry for filling in for me while I was on a trip with my son. For as fun as that was, though, it's even better to be back in the Lone Star State. Let's get into today's news. In an opinion issued on Friday, Texas Supreme Court clarified that judges can refuse to perform same-sex weddings while continuing to perform real weddings in what's been celebrated as a win for religious liberty. The opinion clarifies confusion after the State Commission on Judicial Conduct seems to have intentionally misrepresented a comment the court had added to the Texas Code of Judicial Conduct. Back in October, the Supreme Court said judges could refuse to perform same-sex weddings. The commission, though, claimed in legal filings since then that it meant judges could not choose to perform weddings between men and women unless they presided over homosexual unions. Also, the Supreme Court says you didn't get that right. A Houston business owner already facing criminal charges tied to alleged AI-generated sexual content is now the target of a $10 million civil lawsuit. George Abrego is co-owner of HTX Tactical. He's accused in a new civil lawsuit of orchestrating a prolonged campaign of online impersonation and harassment against a Houston-based influencer identified in court filings as Jane Doe. Abrego had been arrested in August 2025 and charged with online impersonation and unlawful production of sexually explicit videos. Investigators allege that Abrego created multiple fake social media accounts using usernames closely resembling the influencer's real profiles. Those accounts were then used to post AI-generated images and videos that appeared to show her engaged in sexual activity. The Tarrant County GOP is moving to disqualify 7 Democrat judicial candidates from the March primary, accusing them of failing to meet legally mandatory filing requirements that render their ballot applications invalid under Texas law. The GOP alleges the candidates failed to comply with mandatory provisions of the Texas Election Code and demand that the Tarrant County Democrats declare those candidates ineligible for their March primary. The challenges highlight multiple defects in required petitions, affidavits, and judicial application disclosures. The Texas Minute will be right back.
News and analysis on what's happening in Texas. End your day with daily headlines from Texas Scorecard. Every day at 5 p.m., join me, Brandon Waltons, as we recap the biggest stories of the day and talk about why they matter to you. From the state capitol to town hall, there's no shortage of events happening. Keep up with it all. Watch and subscribe to Daily Headlines from Texas Scorecard.
A coalition of left-wing organizations is claiming that Texas A&M is, quote, censoring Plato. A higher education scholar, though, says that isn't what's happening. A reading from Plato's Symposium on Astophanine's myth of split humans and Diotima's ladder of love were removed from a single philosophy class. The piece is a comic yet serious account in which humans were once 3 spherical sexes, male, female, and androgynous. The chair of A&M's philosophy department reportedly told the professor teaching the class to remove the readings in order to comply with A&M's rule banning advocacy of race and gender ideology. Left-wing advocacy groups seized on the report and claimed censorship, which were immediately echoed by left-wing publications like the New York Times and the Texas Tribune. Scott Ginner is a scholar who studies higher education. He described this as, quote, a classic lefty tactic, namely exaggerate what the rule demands and then apply that exaggeration in order to discredit the rule. If you don't know the difference between reading Plato and encouraging children to consume porn in a school library, you probably shouldn't be in higher education. You can find details on that story and the others mentioned today and keep up with the latest news by visiting TexasScorecard.com. This edition of the Texas Minute was produced by Nick Shepard and based on the original reporting of Travis Morgan, Michael Wilson, Eddie Hovland, and Adam Kahn. I look forward to seeing you out around the Lone Star State. Now go make it a great day.